Hello everyone. Today I will show you how to connect your website with database using PHP. Database connection with website is very important because in some many cases you need to store information from website to database, so we can easily connect our database with website by using PHP. Suppose this is our website project and this is the database. For database, we will use MySQL Workbench database. Suppose this is our database, user database. Now I want to connect this database with our website project. Suppose this is our website project. I want to connect the user database with our website. First of all, I will create a new file to connect our database. Now I will give it a name and it is con.php. So PHP is a server based language, so of course you need to install a server. So as a local server we will use the XAMPP server. So first of all you have to open the XAMPP server, then you have to start this Apache. So it is the XAMPP Apache server, it is as a local server. So now we have to write down the basic information about the database to connect the database with our website. So to write down the PHP code, we have to start with angle bracket question mark, then PHP, then angle bracket question mark, and it is closing of PHP code. So we have to write down the information of the database to connect database with website. I will write down that information in a variable, or you can directly write down. Now I will show it. Now I will take a variable, and in this variable we will write down the host name of our database. Here you can see, just go to this home page, you can see localhost 3306. Now I will write down localhost 3306, then semicolon. Now I will take another variable and it is user. You can write down any variable. In user variable we will write down the username. So the username of our database is root. So now I will write down root. Then I will take another variable and it is password. In this variable we will write down the password of this database. Now I will show you the password. So if you want to enter into your database, it is asking the password. So during installing the MySQL Workbench, of course there will be an option to set password. But if you don't set any password, you don't need to write anything, just keep as it is. But if you have password, here you can see I have a password. You need to write down that password to enter into your database. So you have to write down that password here. This is my password. Then I will take another variable. In this variable, we will store the database name. Suppose I'm writing down DB. It's a variable. You can write down any variable name. And here you can see our database name is user database. So now we have to write down the database name here. I will write down user database. So to connect your database with website, you need 4 information, and it is localhost that I have stored in host variable, and it is root, and it is the username of our database that I have stored in user variable, and the password, it is the password during installing the MySQL Workbench. Of course you have set a password, and DB is a variable. In this variable we have stored the database name. Now we will write down a function, and it is MySQL connect. So it is a function that will help us to connect your database with your website. So now I will take another variable, and it is con, and in this variable we have to write down the function, and it is mysqli underscore connect, then semicolon. So it is the function that will help us to connect our website with database. So here we have written down the 4 information about database. Now we have to write down the 4 variable. So first of all we will write down the host name that I have stored in host variable, then user, then password, and finally the database name that I have stored in DB. So here we have connected our database. The database is connected only with this con.php. Now if you want to connect your database with all of your PHP file, then you have to include this con.php file. Then the database will be connected with all of your PHP file. So here you can see we have connected the database. So now I will run the code. So I will go to a website. Then you have to write down localhost, then slash. Then you have to write down your project folder. Our project folder is Connect Database using PHP. Of course, you have to keep this folder in your XAMPP folders htdoc subfolder. I have installed the XAMPP server in XAMPP 3 latest. In this folder, I will go to this folder. Then here you can see htdocs. All of your PHP project or PHP folder will be in this htdoc subfolder. Here you can see our PHP project, and it is Connect Database using PHP. From here we can copy the folder name. Just copy it, and then you can write down the folder name or just paste it, then slash. We have to run the con.php file. Then I will write down con.php, then enter. Here we can see database is successfully connected, and if I make any wrong, suppose I mistake in password, I have just removed one letter, and if I run it, here you can see the error. So if you make any mistake or if you have any error in your database connection, then it will show us this error information. Here we can't see anything. That means we have successfully connected our database. So if you want to connect database with all of your PHP file, so here it is the con.php. It means we have just connected our database with this PHP file. So if you want to connect this database with all of your PHP file, then you have to include this file, and it is con.php. Now I will include the con.php file with all of our PHP file. From the beginning of our code, we have to include it. So I will write down the PHP code here. So from the beginning of our code, we will include our con.php file. So I will write down include con.php. It means that we have included the con.php with this index.php. It means that we have successfully connected this database here. So if you have all of the PHP file, just you have to include it. Suppose I am taking another file, it is login.php. Okay, so here first of all you have to include con.php file, include con.php. In this way you can connect your database with all of your PHP file. This is con.php file. In this PHP file we have connected the database with our website. So in every PHP file we have included the con.php file. It means we have connected database in all of our PHP page. And you can also do it without this variable. Just you have to write down like this: MySQL connect the information serially like this. Here you can see. Then you have to write down the password, and finally you have to write down the database name. Here you can see. So if you run it, it is also correct. So you can directly write down the database information like this, or you can write down the database information in separate variable. Then you can write down the variable inside the MySQL Connect function. So MySQL Connect is a function that will help you to connect database with website. Let's run the code. So you can't see any error. It means our connection is successful. So here you can see it is both are correct. So you can directly write down the database information like this, or you can store the database information in separate variables. Then you have to write down that variables inside the MySQL Connect. So in this way you can easily connect your website with database. Just include this con.php file, then you don't need to write down this information again and again. Just you have to include this con.php file like this. You have to include this con.php file with all of your PHP file in your PHP project. In this way we can easily connect our website with database. So this is very simple.